Okay, these should go pretty fast. Compare the first figure to the second. So we're going to write it as, uh, like, you could do it as 2 to 4, right? Like a 2 to 4 ratio. But we really don't want to write it as that. We want to simplify it. So they really have a 1 to 2 ratio. Okay? And when it says give the ratio of the perimeter ratio is 1 to 2, because if a side length, which is a measure of length, has a 1 to 2 ratio, then the perimeter, which is also a measure of length, also has a 1 to 2 ratio. Okay? For area, we're going to square both of those numbers. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4. The areas have a 1 to 4 ratio. Okay? So let's do that again. For number 11, if the ratio is 14 to 21, and we simplify that, dividing both by 7, we get a 2 to 3 ratio for the side length. So we say for the perimeter, because it's also a measure of length, it also has a 2 to 3 ratio. Areas, we will square that ratio, and we say 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. And then finally, number 13, I just put them all on the same page because I grabbed it as a single image because these go quick. The figures in each pair are similar. The area of one figure is given. Find the area of the other figure. So I'm going to list what we did up top. If we have a 3 to 6 side ratio, that simplifies to a 1 to 2. So perimeters will have a 1 to 2 ratio, and therefore areas will have a 1 to 4 ratio. If areas have a 1 to 4 ratio and the smaller one has 6, we're saying if it's got a ratio of 1 to 4, that's the same as 6 to what? Get it? Okay, 1 is to 4 as 6 is to what? Because once we know the ratio for the area, we can then just plug in the number that we've got into that equivalent ratio. So 1 is to 4 as 6 is to 24, and it's inches squared because it's area. And we then have an answer of 24 inches squared for that larger figure. Okay, and of course this is the same as those, it's just not from the same page, so I put it on a separate slide. But these have a 16 to 12 ratio, which when simplified, dividing both by 4, you get a 4 to 3 ratio. That means the perimeters have a 4 to 3 ratio, and therefore the areas have a 16 to 9 ratio. Okay? And if they've got a 16 to 9 ratio, then if the larger triangle, the first one, is 105, we say 105 is then to what? Okay, this is a little bit trickier, so we're going to do our regular multiplication to do this for ratios, which is 16x equals 9 times 105 is 945. And then dividing both sides by 16, we get x equals they were asking for us to round it off to the nearest whole number. So we've got, let's say it's approximately 59, and what's the units? They are feet squared. Okay, so set up as a ratio, 16 to 12, simplify it to 4 to 3, and then you need to square that to find the area ratio. 4 squared is 16, 3 squared is 9, and then say 16 is to 9 as 105, the area of the first larger triangle, is to what? The area of the smaller one? Solve it out.